guys, welcome back to my channel. He just had a really good nap. I wanted to tell the story of my husband and I meeting. My husband is Dutch and I'm American, and people ask all the time, how did you guys meet? Like, you live in the Netherlands now, and how did you guys meet? So we met on Instagram. Yeah, he came across my account just through a hashtag, because I used to hashtag a lot when I was really trying to kind of get a little bit more of a following for my art. Yeah, wow. I did the hashtag science. I don't even know why that specific one. It was like kind of scientific kind of art, I guess. But anyway, I did that hashtag, and so Seep came across that when he had looked up a hashtag, and that was the first time he had ever looked up a hashtag in his life. So super random. But yeah, and then he came across my page and he liked a couple of my photos. And so me not having that big of an Instagram account, obviously I notice when someone likes multiple photos. So I noticed and I looked at his account and I was like, he's pretty cute. And so, I don't know, I had gotten out of a relationship not that long ago, so I, wasn't necessarily looking for anyone, but something about his face and just his profile really intrigued me. But I could see that his pictures were, he was speaking in Dutch, or writing in Dutch. But I didn't even know what Dutch was at the time, to be honest with you. So I just saw it was a different language, and so I ended up messaging him, and I said, hey, where are you from? I know I can tell that you're not speaking English. And he said, oh, I'm from the Netherlands, and he replied in English. So yeah, we just kind of started talking. We started telling about ourselves to each other, and we just had such an instant connection. It was kind of incredible. It was so mutual too, because we both talk about it now, how we felt about each other, and it really was like our worlds collided, and the conversation would just flow, and everything that we said, it felt like it resonated with each other. And I don't know, it was just the coolest start, and we knew that it was going to be something, I think, from then on. We knew we would be friends, or we knew that something major had happened by meeting each other. And that may sound kind of crazy. That's how strongly we felt about each other. So anyway, the story continues, and we just kept talking. We ended up Skyping only the next day, I think, and we Skyped for 3 hours the very first time, and we just kept talking and talking and had such a good time together via Skype. And yeah, and so actually it's funny because that night, when we were signing off, saying goodbye, he accidentally said that he loved me. And it was really late at night, so we'll give him that, but he he totally did not mean to. But I guess it was kind of one of those things where it's when you know somebody really well, you say okay, I love you, bye, that kind of thing. And I didn't even notice, but afterwards he texted me, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to say that. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, oh, never mind. And I was like, no, you gotta tell me. And he said, I said I love you, and I didn't mean to. And I said, oh, that's funny. And I wasn't gonna overthink it. I can see how it would be easy to make that mistake when it's 3 a.m. and you're just having such a good time with someone. That's genuinely how I thought about it. So anyway, we continued on our friendship slash kind of having feelings for each other. We would Skype quite often. I think we Skyped almost every day. And we would text pretty much all day. And that went on for, I think it was about 3 months. And then he came, we made plans for him to come visit me. And he flew to Chicago, and I drove to pick him up there. And it was such a mess when I went to go pick him up in Chicago, because he was about 2 hours delayed because he had to go through a really, really, really long customs line. and I was there early, so I ended up having to wait about 2 hours, but the thing is his phone was dead, so I had no idea what was going on for that whole time. It was so scary, and I was calling my parents like, I don't know what to do, I don't know if he's coming, and so it was really, really hectic, but he ended up coming out. It was often like a crowd of people, and there was a giant crowd of people this time. I don't know what was specifically why there were so many people that day at the airport, but it was absolutely crazy. And I was just a face in the crowd, and I was watching, oh my gosh, like I get butterflies just thinking about this scenario. But I was watching for his face, and mind you, I had only ever seen him on a screen, which is a lot different than in person, I think. Like, it's a big difference seeing someone 3D versus, yeah. And he was really, really tall, so he's 6'3". So, yeah, just knowing what to expect when you see somebody in person is really difficult. But I saw him, and I saw his face, and it was so beyond, like, love at first sight kind of thing. Like, the biggest connection, and so we meet, and Dutch people do like the 3 kisses, and so he started to do that with me, and he had warned me ahead of time that he was going to do that if that was okay with me, and I said sure, but I had forgotten in that moment, and so I thought he was going in for a kiss, like a legitimate kiss, but he wasn't, but I did. So I went in for a kiss, and it was completely magical, and it was so absolutely crazy, like the craziest feelings I've ever had in my life, for sure. It was the craziest. Like, I'm getting warm just thinking about how absolutely insane that moment was. We start walking, and we're just walking to go find my car, and I had never been to an airport before that was international. Like, I've never driven to pick someone up before, and like, mind you, I was like 19 at the time, I think. Yeah, 19. So, you know, I'm pretty young, pretty dumb. And I parked my car out front in the temporary parking. So, you know, where all the signs are that say like tow zone, do not park, do not, like, that's everywhere. That's where I decided to park, so that was really smart. But yeah, so I left my car out front, and in my defense, I thought I would pick him up and he would like immediately come out to my car. Like, this is how I envisioned it. I didn't envision him going through customs for 2 hours, plus his flight being delayed. I figured even just if I left the car for a second, went in to find him, and then we would just come right back out. Like, that's really how I pictured it. And on top of that, I couldn't get a hold of him, so what was, you know, it was too hard to know what I should be doing. We walk outside, and I look at where my car should be, and it's not there. And I have a massive freak out inside my own head, and I'm just like, oh no, my car's not there. It was so scary. I was freaking out, like, what happened to my car? I told Steve, my car's not there. I'm certain this is where it should be, and it's not there. And he was really calm, and that's when I found out that in stressful situations, Steve is incredibly calm, very relaxed, very much just like, okay, let's figure out what to do. Like, okay, what do we do next? So he went up to someone and said, hey, the car that we're supposed to be here is not here anymore. And then they directed us on where to go, and it ended up taking us like a couple like kind of long like airport tram rides to get to the tow, what is that called? Like the tow lot, where they put all the cars that they tow. But it took us a while to get there. It was like, I don't even know, like 30 minutes probably. For some reason it was a while, but this airport was like really busy. The Chicago airport was super busy that day, so. You're crazy! So we're on that, we get there, and they tell us that it costs, I think it was like $250 to get my car back. And so yeah, I didn't have that in cash. You had to pay it in cash, and they didn't have an ATM there, so we had to get back on the tram and go all the way back to the airport and go to an ATM, take money out, $250 worth, and then go back. So we wasted probably about an hour or hour and a half total. Finally got my car back, so that was good. And then we left, and we stayed at a hotel together, and yeah, our first night together. But it was wonderful. We had such a good time. The next day was just magical. Like, we had such a beautiful morning together, and we like walked around the hotel park, because there was a really beautiful hotel that we stayed at. It was gorgeous, and it just, sparks were flying the whole time. We were so happy. And I think that same day we went to Chicago together. Really briefly, like, we weren't that interested in really seeing anything. We just were like excited to be together. And then we pretty quickly left, and Steve drove us back to Cedar Rapids, my hometown, and he met my family that night. And they immediately loved him. He's such a charming guy, so it was easy. It was no problem for them to immediately love him. But yeah, so I guess that story just continues and continues, because we visited each other, I think 11 times back and forth. So we've had 22 flights in total. So yeah, that's a lot, and that's the reason why we decided we wanted to live in the same place, because we wanted to see each other all the time, and it was too hard to wait to make it more reasonable expense-wise, because international flights are freaking expensive. So anyway, it's only gotten better, and we're married now. We got married in May 6th in Cedar Rapids, and we decided to get married after we found out that we were pregnant. That was something that we just mutually decided we wanted to do. We knew we wanted to get married anyway. That had always been something we talked about. We always talked about wanting to have kids once we knew we were really serious, but we were surprised with this beautiful little angel. And it was the best surprise in the world after we kind of got over it. We decided to get married. That was an amazing choice. I'm really glad that we did that. I feel like it just made our lives come together in just the right ways. Like, being pregnant and being able to say he was my husband felt right to me. Initially, I really was thinking like, oh, I don't really feel like we need to get married. Like, we can wait till a different time. But now that I think about it, I feel like it made my pregnancy so much more comfortable in so many ways. Like, it just felt so right to be married to him, and it felt like all the pieces came together perfectly. And for immigration purposes, it also felt really, really right. Not that you need to be married to immigrate to the Netherlands, but it definitely felt like it helped in many circumstances, and people really knew that we were serious about each other. It was just, yeah, I feel like I'm the most blessed person ever, having met Steve, to be honest with you. Like, he's the most incredible husband, father. He's just the best person. Like, I can't say enough good things about him. I could go on and on forever, but I won't for viewers' sake. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that story with you guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions about it. Just let me know what you think of it, and would you follow love and fly across the ocean and live with the person that you fell in love with? Or would that be a deal breaker for you that they live far away? I don't know, I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. Let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe if you're interested in more videos. I try to do some videos related to my life and sharing my journey. So yeah, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and talk to you soon. Bye.